Hi, I'm Andi.
And I'm Ayla.
And welcome to
Sinister Dynasty.
So, for my last episode, Jan Molinar, we found out I was going to say posthumously, that's kind of not really the word, but his name was actually pronounced Jan. So thank you very much to the person who told us that, because I obviously didn't look into it in much detail, did I? I found everything else but that, so thank you very much. Thank you very, very, very much. We will listen and learn.
We'll be aware of that next time, because I've gotten a weird name on mine, and I was listening to a podcast about mine today, and I was like, what do you mean that's their name?
Interesting. So yeah, I think that we should just listen to the podcast and then say our podcast.
Not everyone's going to have a podcast.
Or go like Google Translate and see how that pronounces it. But yeah, so they're very good. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Moving on to this next one that I'm going to do. So this case that I'm introducing now, I'm going to talk about, is the George Wilder case. And I'm just thinking, we literally just talked about pronouncing names. I don't know if his last name is pronounced Wilder or Wilder. It could be both.
Yeah, well, you've hit both the options, so you should be right.
That should be good. So I'm just going to call him George, because you can't mispronounce that, right? Hopefully not. So yeah, this was back in 1962. So in this year, he was in New Plymouth prison. And
he's already in prison.
Yeah, so he's in prison, 1962. Oh, I should have said this from the start. Sorry. This case is a bit of a true crime one, so it's not actually a murder case.
Murder is true crime.
Huh? Yeah, well. Oh, yeah, it's been a long day. So, yeah, there's no murder involved in this. Well, that we know of. Well, that the public knows. But, yeah, there's no murder. It's just a kind of interesting one, very interesting, and you will find out why if you keep listening. So his name was George, and he was in New Plymouth prison. So he was there. He'd just been involved in some burglaries and thefts and some car conversions. So I think we figured out that it just means breaking into cars
and not changing the transmission from automatic to manual or manual to automatic.
We had to look into that because we weren't sure. And his favourite car, by the sounds of it, was a Jaguar. I don't know.
A Jag.
A Jag. So that was his favourite car to break into and steal.
I mean, they're worth a fair bit. So
yeah, it makes sense. It's common sense, really. If you want to get into that stuff, you go for that car. So I just want to make it clear as well, he was put into prison, but he wasn't there for violent things. It was just burglaries, thefts, other stuff, car conversions. I had to look at my notes again. So yeah, no violent things. And because of what he'd been doing, he'd been sentenced to 4 years in prison, right? So that was in 1961, sorry. And then in 1962, at age 25, he climbed a high wall, so it was 10 metres high, and then he disappeared into the central North Island backcountry. So he just broke out of prison. And that was in 17th of May, and he wasn't found until the 21st of July.
Whoa!
So he was out of prison for 65 days.
Oh, no. No, I was going to say, is this a recent one? Because we were...
Were you talking about a prison break as well, recently?
I don't know. There was a man on the run not too long ago, and...
So, yeah, on the 17th of May in 1962, at age 25... he climbed a high wall, so it was 10 metres high, out of the prison, and escaped. And he wasn't seen until 65 days later on the 21st of July. He was just gone.
Such a long time.
He was just gone. It was very impressive. Very impressive. He was seen on the 10th of July, but they didn't catch him. So they actually caught him on the 21st of July, 11 days later. So even though he was seen, he still managed to stay out of the public and the police's view for 11 more days. So he's said to have changed out of his prison clothes into normal clothing on the roof of the prison, like after climbing climbing the wall.
What, did he climb up there with other clothes? He couldn't have climbed up there with other clothes.
Unless he's like Spider-Man or something.
I mean, where would you don't get the option of other clothes in prison.
Well, that's the thing. They don't actually know where his other clothes came from. So, yeah, I don't know. Very cool,
someone helped him.
Yeah.
Someone must have helped him.
Or he's just got superpowers. I like to think that idea.
I mean, if he had superpowers, I'm sure he could teleport out of the
It's
prison.
possible, yeah. So in those 65 days, he didn't just stay away from the police, but he did that through driving through police barricades in cars to get through them so he could escape.
Yep.
He also evaded large search parties as well.
Yep.
He also escaped a police dog by just swimming across a river. There was getaways by horse as well.
The commitment.
Yeah, and he was reported to have even joined a search party for himself, and they didn't notice. Very cool, honestly. Well, I suppose as well they just really have drawings of them back then. They wouldn't actually have photos as such, or he could have been in disguise.
They would have. I'm pretty sure they would have had photos back then.
Oh, I don't know.
It's not that long ago.
I don't know. I'm very out of touch with reality. But yeah, so he joined a search party for himself.
He probably had like a fake mustache.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Glasses with the eyebrows.
So I remember when we were growing up and they had like, there was the hippie phase and you would draw like a moustache on your finger or do like a peace sign.
Running around the bush with a moustache drawn on his finger.
Perfect. That would work on me, especially one of the days like today, the brain's just not working. Like, whoa, that's not George.
Sir, where's your moustache gone? Oh, there it is.
Aren't you George? Oh no, never mind. My bad. So yeah, he was caught on the 21st of July near Whakamaru. He was hiding by a hole near a logging road, and then he was taken back to jail. So he was just hiding by a hole. It might have worked. Maybe the police were being a bit more thorough at that point. Probably. He'd escaped them for 65 days. So yeah, there was an escape, and he got...
Maybe he lost his fake moustache.
Rubbed off his finger. Oh, that's so good. We should dress up as him for Halloween and have a fake moustaches. Anyway, so he was taken back to jail.
Yes.
I'm guessing because of his first escape, this caused him to be transferred to another prison, because it says next that he was in Mount Eden prison, so he must have been transferred.
Because I'm sick of your bullshit, mate.
Yeah, probably.
Next
I
one.
I don't know what happened there. So he did have 4 years on his sentence to begin with, right? Just for his burglaries and stuff. He had an extra 3 added on.
Shit, that's a long time.
Yeah, for escaping prison. And so he was housed in the back basement security unit. So in that unit, there were patrols running every 30 minutes. So there's just like a single patroller just walking around every 30 minutes just to make sure everything's all good, I guess.
Is that safe? Only one guy?
I don't know. Must have worked, I guess. Well, actually...
Keep reading.
I'll keep reading. Because 6 months after his transfer, so on the 29th of January 63, he escaped prison again.
He's committed to the cause,
This
eh?
is the second time. So he escaped this time. He somehow found some hacksaw blades and a homemade key. He got them from other inmates.
I was going to say, I wonder if it's the same person who gave him the clothes.
But he would have been in New Plymouth prison, so he would have transferred to Mount Eden also. So he would have just made some new friends. I don't know, maybe he's a pretty stand-up guy. Like, maybe he's just there for the laughs.
Obviously,
he could have made friends easily.
He keeps breaking out. He's obviously not there for a laugh.
There to make mates and get out of there. Like, all good. But yeah, so he got some hacksaw blades and a homemade key from other inmates. And between the half-hourly patrols, so again, there was patrols every 30 minutes, he managed to cut the lock from his door. Right? He then went around the unit and asked if anyone else wanted to escape with him.
What a nice guy.
He's very friendly. I gotta respect that, in all honesty. Like, you gotta respect it. And so 3 people actually took him up on his offer. Why wouldn't you, I guess? I suppose you could have years added to your sentence. So those people were Frank, Patrick, and Reuben, and they were all under 30. So they're all about the same age as George was. I'm guessing he was 26 at this time.
Oh,
yeah.
Ambitious.
Yeah, very ambitious. So he unlocked their doors and then got them out and then locked them again so it wouldn't look suspicious for the patroller. Yep.
I mean, you know what looks suspicious?
For people walking around the cell.
Nobody being in themselves.
That is true, actually. That is a fair point.
And also them rolling through the jail.
You'd be a good police officer.
Oh, shit.
The prison officer, sorry. So the 4 of them then crammed into George's cell and they started putting, they brought their sheets with them and they started, making ropes out of their sheets, right? Not a bad idea.
No, but it's exactly like off movies.
Yeah, it is. Maybe that's where they got the idea from. I don't
know.
On
the nose.
Yeah. So before 6 a.m, so again, all 4 of them were in George's room, there was a prison officer and he unlocked the grill that entered the unit with the 30-minute patrols. And then one of the 4, this is where it gets a little bit sad, one of the 4 knocked him unconscious. And then they bound him, gagged him, and tied him to the toilet in the bathroom.
Sorry, I missed that part. Was that George?
Oh, just one of the 4. So I didn't say who. It just said one of the 4 people.
Right.
Yeah.
I haven't actually knows.
Yeah, so one of the 4 people. So that's violent a little bit there, which is a fair cry from what he was put in there for. But again, we don't know who it was. We don't know who did that. So they then used his keys, the prison officer's keys, to open another grill that led to the yard, and that was the yard where they did exercising and stuff. Actually, that was the yard where hangings occurred. So Mount Eden Prison, that could have been, that could have been where, I forgot the dude that you did.
Walter Bolton,
yeah, that could have been where he was hanged. So you got to listen to our episodes.
There's
some linkage,
back.
yeah. Once they got into the yard, they stood on each other's shoulders.
Teamwork,
of course. And then they cut through the steel mesh that covered the yard using the blades that George had from the other
that would
inmates.
have taken so long.
Yeah. That's the point, though, because they were actually visible, and so they got shot at. Just once they got shot at, but they dodged it. They dodged the bullet, and then kept going, and then got out, and then they lowered themselves down the wall using their sheets. So they were climbing up the wall, they got seen, they got shot at, they were like, oh no.
I know this.
And they climbed down the wall. And they got out. So it turns out, actually no, I'll start that again. 3 of them, the 3 that George picked up, they were found a few days later, but George had kept going, he just left them behind. I mean, fair enough. And he ended up escaping police for 6 months or 172 days.
Crikey, he is on a roll, eh?
So yeah, he got away 65 days in the first time and then 172 days. So of course at this point he's being quite well known with the public. And so he was getting coverage from, it actually says here, international newspapers as well. So just to keep him mad, breaking out of prison twice, and that was getting told overseas.
I mean, that's pretty impressive.
It is pretty impressive. And it
2 different prisons as well, and they can't, say, oops, we fucked up.
We fucked up. Oh, wow. Yeah, so, he got out. He got out of prison. At the point there, though, you said that it's quite impressive. It was very impressive, and it also kept growing. Like, the public kept making up stories like, oh, he did this, and they exaggerated what he did.
I thought you were going to say more inmates started breaking out.
Oh, no. Well, I don't know, actually. Maybe they did. Who knows? I didn't look into that.
I think I would.
My research only goes so far. But yeah, so of course the longer that he was out, the more frustrated the police got.
Fair.
So they were quite annoyed with him, and it was around this point that he was labelled as a folk hero. So apparently he would also be breaking into people's holiday homes and stuff, right, and just eating their food. but he'd leave them little thank you notes afterwards. And people were just like, oh yeah, we helped George.
It's not a good thing, Susan.
And they started leaving food out for him as well to just eat and stuff while he was on the run.
They are.
Classic Kiwis though, like...
That is so crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty interesting. So yeah, he was just labelled a folk hero, and he would leave those apology notes and thank you notes as well. But he was recaptured near Taupo on the 17th of July 1963. And guess how far he travelled in that time? Kilometres. Not miles, because we're not weirdos.
Look, I don't know how...
2,610 kilometres.
That couldn't have all been on foot, so he would have been jacking cars again.
Yeah, so he allegedly committed 40 crimes in that time, so yeah.
This is why
car conversions again.
This is why you're meant to be in prison, George. Yeah. Fuck's sake.
Well, to be fair though, he stole a few bicycles as well, so his crimes are lowering. I guess, I don't know.
That's still bad.
Yeah, that's still bad. That's still bad. What if you got a bike for your birthday or something?
What if that's your only main thing of transport, because you've been disqualified from driving or something, and all you've got is this bike, and then this bike's gone.
Claim to fame though, I'd be pretty pissed for a short time, and then later I'd be like, yeah.
I'd be going to the police and being like, you're prison breaker.
Well,
stole my bike. You
go
need
to
to
the
replace
prison,
it.
wouldn't you? You go to the prison, not the police. I don't know how that
I'd go
works.
to the police and be like, give me a bike.
Yeah, give me a bike, please. It's not covered by insurance.
My bike insurance doesn't cover George.
It doesn't cover George. It doesn't cover car thieves stealing it. Yeah, so he committed 40 crimes in that time, supposedly, around about, I don't know, it just says that.
Nice.
Yeah, well, not nice.
No, not nice.
Not nice. So he was sent back to Mount Eden prison, so he wasn't transferred this time.
What is the point?
Well, his new sentence, so it was 4 years, then 3 got added on, so it was 7. His new sentence was 13 years, and that actually got up quite a few people upset, because that was longer than what most murderers got. He got 13 years in total for...
I mean, he's had it added up.
Yeah, he's had it added up for sure.
And he committed a lot of crimes during his free time.
But then again, though, murder is a pretty big thing. We covered that in our last episode. Yeah. It's pretty bad. I'd rather have my car stolen than be murdered.
I think they need to up the murder sentence, but...
Oh, yeah, for sure. That was at the time, though, as well, though. So I don't actually know.
Ridiculous.
I don't actually know about the murder stuff now. We should probably look into that, considering our podcast is mainly about that. So the next bit as well, musical group. So the musical group was called the Howard Musical Quartet.
Fuck, that's a plot twist.
Yeah, released a song about him. So it was called...
Oh, okay, that's not so much
George the Wilder, so ER in brackets. So George the Wilder New Zealand Boy, in September of 1963. And it went to number 1 immediately, despite being banned by New Zealand radio. And it stayed there for 10 weeks, supposedly.
Nice.
But then I actually found this out. Well, I didn't find this out. RNZ's William Ray found out that the song was actually banned 10 years after, or around about 10 years after George's first escape. So the song wasn't banned straight away, so that's probably why it shot to number 1, but they still banned the song.
That's salty.
Yeah, I think they're pretty salty. Yeah, I found that really funny when I read it.
That is so funny. That's salty 10 years later.
Yeah, 10 years later, so like, oh, we didn't get him.
Fuck it, we fucked up.
Yeah, we fucked up. We don't want to admit it though.
So we'll just ban the song.
We'll ban the song instead. So at this point, Horace Hayward, so he was the superintendent at Mount Eden prison, so where George escaped from. He was moved to Paparua prison during this escape. So when George was escaped, when he left, he got transferred, the superintendent. So his replacement was called Edward Buckley, and he was really strict on everyone. So he was really strict on the inmates, but also with staff. And it said here as well that he would actually dig in really to the inmates, and sometimes, not the inmates, the staff, and sometimes it was in front of the inmates too. So he's kind of like demeaning the staff in front of the inmates, and so they're kind of setting the staff up for failure, really.
I mean, if he's treating the staff and the inmates the same, like,
I don't know.
That might just be how he treats people.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, it's not great that he's an arsehole, potentially. I don't know what he was like. He could have just,
Yeah, he had a tough life. I don't know.
You know,
I didn't research him.
But he's treating everyone with the same respect and dignity that he treats everyone else with, which may be minimal.
Which may be minimal, but it's still the same.
Yeah.
That's a fair point, actually. I didn't think of it that way.
It's the same across the board.
Yeah, that's actually a very fair point. He could have just been treating everyone equally, which I suppose is what you're meant to do.
Unless he's been an absolute outright arsehole.
Yeah.
But props to him if he wasn't.
Yeah, props to him if he wasn't. Take the credit, Mr. Buckley. So,
if you deserve it.
If you deserve it, only if. He also replaced the manual locks and the keys with electronic stuff as well. So made everything electronic.
He's thinking outside of the box.
He is. I mean, after 2 escapes as well, you'd probably think to change things up a little bit.
What can we do to prevent this?
Treat everyone the same. So there was a third time as well. On the 4th of February 1964, he managed to escape again.
Honestly, just put him in a cage.
Put him in a cage. Human rights.
I mean, he might escape the cage, but...
Could be a magician, maybe.
Houdini,
yeah. Maybe that's what he was studying to be. I don't know, a magician. Yeah, very interesting. So this time, he left with a sawn-off shotgun.
Oh, Christ. Where did he get that from?
I don't know.
Oh, God.
I have no clue.
He's just pulling these out of his magic hat at this point.
His magic hat. Instead of a bunny, it's a sawn-off shotgun.
And hacksaw blades and clothes. And...
Yeah, clothes too. He's very magical, this man. So he left with a sawn-off shotgun and 2 other prisoners. So he must have gone around offering again.
Hey mate, do you want to come for a lap?
Go on a lap. Yeah, no. And again, why wouldn't you take up the offer, I guess?
Because you don't want to have a 13-year sentence.
You think the prisoners would know by now as well that they would definitely be having their sentences added to. So this time they actually kidnapped a prison warder, a prison guard at gunpoint. So they kidnapped this dude.
They're escalating.
Yeah, they've escalated.
You know who else escalates? Murderers.
Just calm until BAM! Yeah.
Maybe he was escalating.
Maybe. Very good point, yeah. But they kidnapped the prison warder and they took him to a house 1.5 kilometres away. And when they got to the house, they also took, so there were obviously people in the house, they took them captive too. So, again, like you said, he's gone from non-violent crimes like car thefts to suddenly kidnapping multiple people at gunpoint.
Yeah, so he's escalating.
He's gone.
Not saying that he could have turned into a potential murderer or anything, but we've identified he is escalating.
Yeah, very clearly identified this. So they stayed there for 3 hours until they were threatened with tear gas by the Armed Defenders Squad. And that was when they...
Honestly, at this point, he's lucky they even threatened him with that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit shocking. And I suppose as well, the police had to think about the people inside the house too.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, pretty crazy. So again, Hayes just crazy escalated it. So he went back into custody with an increased sentence, but he was actually released on parole on the 20th of June 1969. So he had like the 13 years... or even more probably, actually, because it was 13 years beforehand. So he had the 13 years and then got released on parole.
And then
parole,
yeah.
Yeah. So he then moved to the Wairapa... Oh, actually, it says Wairapa, but I don't think it's there. I think there's another Y
Don't look at me.
I don't know.
I don't know. Okay.
know.
He
But
moved
there.
somewhere,
He
starting
moved
with
somewhere.
W.
And he doesn't speak to... So he's still
White
around,
Tracer?
I'm pretty sure. Oh, no, it's like a Y... Radapa. I don't know.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Moving on. I don't know. But he doesn't speak to anyone, so he doesn't... Well, by anyone, I mean, like, journalists. He doesn't really speak to people, and he keeps pretty quiet.
Well, good. He's not sharing his... A magician never tells their secrets.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. And also, so he also took part in the prison riot in July of 1965 too.
Of course he did. Of course he did.
Yeah, maybe he did a few more magic tricks, I don't know, to keep the crowd entertained. There was also, not only was there a song about him, but there was also a play as well, which involved like a fictional version of him. And it just included like the folklore that it says like around his escapes and what he did while he was escaping and stuff. So obviously very fictional, but based on true events.
Yes.
Like him just taking food and people leaving food out for him. And just being treated like a hero, really, from escaping prison 3 times. Well, probably not really the 3rd time. I wouldn't treat him as a hero after the 3rd time.
I wouldn't treat him as a hero after the 2nd time.
I'd treat him
Steal my car, break out of prison.
I'd treat him as a prison clown. Like one of the class clowns, but a prison clown.
He could have been doing performances for the rest of the inmates with his magic.
Well, he could have been. Could have been a good life as well. But no, George, you had to keep escaping.
Stop stealing cars, George. I'm sure you have now, but...
Yeah, well, hopefully. You'd hope so after 13 plus years.
I'm pretty sure that would make headlines if he got put back into prison.
Yeah.
Is this guy going to escape again?
Yeah, probably.
Don't go back to prison, George. We don't want to find out.
I wonder what's going to happen. Like, obviously he's a little bit older. Like, what was it? He was 25 in 1962.
Oh, shit. Don't ask me to math.
Well, yeah, I can't math.
Google.
Oh. Actually, no, it's just plus 60. So he'll be turning 85 if he's still around. He'll be turning 85 this year.
Oh, good on him.
Yeah. I wonder what happens. Like, if he is still around, he's gonna be a bit old. He's definitely a bit older now, and it might be his time soon. Like, I wonder what's gonna happen. Like, if and when he does pass, is there gonna be like it being brought up again, like in the media? I don't know. They might keep it.
They might keep it on the down low.
Yeah. Yeah, but that was it. And again, takeaway point, just non-violent to violent at the end. Funny story, very funny story, but still a crime, still a true crime.
Yeah, that was just one thing after the next.
That was a really short one. I just found it real interesting because I'd never heard of it before. And then I was expecting it to be a murder or something. And it's just him escaping prison.
Yeah.
So not even like for a couple of days. Just, 65 days and then 172 days. He was just out of prison. That's very impressive.
I know.
That's very impressive.
God.
Just ran into the bush.
I think I have heard that before, but... not that much of it.
Yeah.
I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
Maybe something along those lines happened in America and I was listening to one of their podcasts or something.
Probably.
But, that was quite...
Yeah. I was just laughing about it. I was actually researching it at work. Oh, I can't remember when. But I was just giggling to myself as I was reading it. I was like it's not funny, but it kind of...
It's amusing.
It's amusing. And just the fact that he was labelled as like a folk hero too. For escaping prison. I know, you can't get any better than that, really. I mean, you could not be in prison, but you could not be committing crimes.
Yeah,
Maybe
please don't do that.
Maybe he wasn't a very good magician then. Like,
obviously not, he kept getting caught.
Amateur magician.
Oh, crikey. How good.
Yeah.
Righto, so that's our episode for...
whatever day it is.
Yep.
When this is released. Oh, Sundays.
Sunday.
Sunday something rather date.
Yes.
Yeah, but anyway, so we'll have a couple episodes out to you as per normal on the Sundays. See how we're feeling, hopefully. if you've got any suggestions, let us know, please. We've actually got another suggestion coming up in the next couple of weeks too. So please remember to pay $3 if you want to.
Oh yeah, you can contact us on we've got a Snapchat. It's called Dynasty Sinister because someone took Sinister Dynasty.
Yeah, we're pretty pissed.
We've got a Gmail. We've got a
Have
Instagram.
we set up the Gmail?
Yeah, we've got a Gmail.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
We've got a Facebook. We've got a
TikTok. We're going to do a TikTok dance. Okay, if you've got any suggestions for TikTok dances also, let us know.
Yep. Not so keen, but I'll do it because Andy's so enthusiastic about it.
I'm so enthusiastic. Yeah, I'm very excited.
And we will look at maybe trying to do a YouTube episode soon where we go out and...
Yeah, we've got a few ideas in mind, so we'll bring them to life, and we're going to get a video set up for it too. So keep that in the back of your brain.
We've also got
going to be going travelling. Sinister Dynasty on tour.
We've also got to get that photo for the website.
Oh God! I've got to time it so I can get my hair done. Because sometimes I rock up to work and I'm like, I look like a homeless person.
I am a homeless person.
Which isn't bad. It's just it's not the best that I could.
No, it's not a selling point.
No, it's not a selling point.
We need to prepare.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that was the case of the 1962 when he first escaped. George Wilder or Wilder, we don't know.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'm Andi,
and I'm Ayla,
and that was
Sinister Dynasty.